Murderbot. More like apathetic lazybot. When does the actual murdering start?
Let's drink about it.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Tipsy Trope. I am your human host, B-Man, and today we're talking about Martha Wells's All Systems Red, a fantastic little book about a robot, a murderbot, who has quite a bit of personality. This little tiny ass book hit all the right notes for me, and I definitely recommend you guys pick this up. It's a quick read. Let's get into it a little bit. It's mostly about Murderbot himself, or herself, itself, it's hard to tell, but it's about Murderbot and his inner musings, inner dialogue. It's from his perspective, its perspective. Like, I'm just gonna say his because I can't. It looks like a he on the cover. I don't know. This book is from the point of view of Murderbot. It's written in first person and it is hilarious. Murderbot is funny as hell, and you really get a sense of what Murderbot is like as a person, a personality, as you're reading through this. He is full of life. Murderbot is a security robot who accompanies humans when they're out exploring new areas. He kind of keeps an eye on things that may be dangerous to humans, like new life forms, or maybe some natural disasters that might happen in the area. He's basically there to protect his humans. He's kind of a normal robot in that sense. A lot of humans hire these kinds of robots to accompany them, but the difference is he has hacked his governor module. So he is unregulated. He's free to do whatever he wants without any governance or regulation. So what does he choose to do? He chooses to watch TV. This is what Murderbot does in his pastime. Instead of focusing on the mission at hand and helping his humans through various things, he sits there in his downtime and watches TV on the entertainment feed. This is what Murderbot likes to do. We're in Murderbot's head and we get to see his musings and his thoughts about various things, and he finds the entertainment feed, well, more enjoyable than actual humans. I mean, I can kind of relate to that. He's also a smartass, cracking jokes all the time, sometimes at the expense of the humans that he's accompanying, sometimes it's self-deprecating jokes. He's just a funny guy. He's kind of pessimistic and apathetic and kind of reminds me of another robot that we've read in another series, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. In that book series, we have Marvin the robot, who shares similarities with Murderbot, though Marvin tends to be a little bit more depressed than Murderbot is, but they're kind of cut from the same cloth. Now, plot-wise, there's not a whole lot of interesting things going on, and the book being so thin, well, you can't really expect too much. But the main focus of this book is the character, the robot, Murderbot, and seeing things from his point of view, and the rest of the things kind of take a back seat for now. But that's okay, because I really enjoyed reading about Murderbot. Now, there are some things about his past that are kind of hinted at, but we don't fully get into it. Hopefully we will in the subsequent books. I think he's had a bit of a dark past. We don't really know how his governor module got hacked or when, or much of what he's done prior to this current mission that he's on, but hopefully we'll pick all that up in the subsequent books. What's really interesting about this book is how Martha Wells has decided to do a character-driven narrative from the point of a robot. We've come a long way since those classic sci-fi books, such as I, Robot from Isaac Asimov, where the author really focuses on the concepts that he's trying to portray and not the characters. In I, Robot, Asimov is really focused on the 3 laws that govern robotics, and well, characters kind of take a back seat. He really focuses on those laws and gives us lots of examples of how those laws can be applied or how they can contradict one another, and it's an interesting read, but it's definitely not character driven. Fast forward to modern sci-fi here, and this is all about the character. It's a fascinating transition from classic sci-fi to today, and I personally like where we are now. If you've watched any of my videos, then you know character-driven narratives are what I seek, and definitely Murderbot brings that. Now, the only negative I can say about this book really has nothing to do with the content of the book, but it's more about the price of the book. I mean, for this little book that you can finish in a couple of hours, $16 US I think is a bit much. And if you want to read the subsequent books, that's another $16 per book, and that really adds up for a bunch of tiny novellas, and they're not even hardcover. This is paperback for that price. So, I don't know about that pricing, Tor Publishing, but you'll have to decide for yourself whether it's worth a pickup. Maybe get it at the library or buy it used, but it might be a deal breaker for some, and it's a shame because the book is really, really good. You know, I used to never read a lot of novellas or shorter books. I've always been kind of a big, thick, epic fantasy book guy with many books in a series that are all basically 1,000 pages. But I'm finding that these little books are amazing palate cleanser. You can kind of stick them in between some of the bigger, thicker, maybe slower volumes of your epic fantasy. Maybe if you're stuck in a slog portion of the fantasy series, you can put this right in there and it kind of cleanses your palate just a little bit and gets you ready to read the next volume. And in that spirit, today's drink pairing is a palate cleanser. Something you can have between 2 courses of a meal or between your appetizer and your entree. Something that just kind of cleanses you up and gets you ready for the next bite. Let's go check it out. Let's make an Aperol Spritzer. And yes, Spritzer does sound like a girly kind of drink, but all it means is that there's bubbles in it. Before we get started, what the heck is Aperol anyways? Aperol is an Italian liqueur that's an aperitif, or aperitivo, as they would say over there, and that's where it derives its name, Aperol. An aperitif is generally something that you have before a meal to kind of get your taste buds going, your stomach kind of ready for the food that's incoming. The flavors that are in here are perfect for a palate cleanser as well. So, we're going into our glass full of ice with 2 ounces of the Aperol. Nice orange color here. Man, that's already good by itself. It's sweet, it's bitter. I think I could just add some soda water and be happy, but we're gonna soup it up a little bit and add some Prosecco. Now, if you watched my recent video on Addie LaRue, then you know that Prosecco is just sparkling wine from Italy. What the fuck? Why am I having so many problems with these sparkling wine openings? Okay then. Cut. Now, if you watched my Addie LaRue video in which we talked about sparkling wine, you know that Prosecco is just sparkling wine from Italy. So we're gonna go in with 1 ounce of the sparkling wine, or Prosecco in this case. And follow that up with 1 ounce of soda water. I like to go in with a little bit of fresh squeezed orange juice here. I think it adds a little something to it. Maybe about a half of one, maybe about 1 ounce or so. I'm not gonna measure this, I'm just gonna squeeze this in. We'll just do a half of an orange. And then let's just cut a slice of orange here for our garnish. Put that right in there. There we go. Aperol Spritzer. It's perfect. Bitter, sweet, bubbles, OJ. Lots happening here and it's delicious and it's a perfect palate cleanser. Definitely try this one at home, especially on hot days like this. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.